We're hopping straight into exposing Quad's fake storyline because, child, where is King?
I'll sip some tea to that.
King ain't nowhere to be found, not even for the reunion. With that being said, how did Miss Quad, you got it, get the first chair on this reunion when you ain't got a husband? You ain't even got a man. You barely got a storyline. Even with her going through the IVF journey, but it's like the main issues that was happening with Quad was with King. Now, King is not here. And to me, her fake storyline with King on Married to Medicine is up.
Miss Quad, it looks like you've been exposed, Miss Boo Boo. Because let me tell you, okay, I'm trying to figure out right here, right now. Miss Quad, okay, you always try to put on this whole facade that everything in your life is going perfect. Everything is going great. Okay, you want to sit here and you want to act like, your king. Now, you don't want to let the people know what's really good with you and Mr. King. You want to shut down all conversations when it comes to what's going on with you and King.
Miss Quad want King just to vanish. Now that they're not together anymore, she does not want anybody hanging around him, anybody talking to him. And it's like, you don't really have that kind of control, because even when she was upset that they had befriended Sweet Tea, when Dr. G was still coming around with his new woman and Quad and Dr. G was no longer together, she didn't want him in the picture then. But it's like, well, we still kept you in the picture, Quad, even with no man, no husband anymore, a new man gone, and you still here in first chair. For those of you who are not familiar, whenever you have the first reunion chair, that means you have one of the strongest storylines, and they anticipate opening up your storyline and getting a better understanding of why your season went the way that it did and why it was basically the strongest storyline. So for her to have first chair, I feel like she don't really have nothing going on, because we're not going to have any resolution with her and King, because like you said, she don't want him around. He's not there. He's not going to be answering any questions. And if you ask me, that is very strategic. If it was me, honestly, you think I would want King around? Because clearly, seeing the fact that he exposed their fake relationship online, okay, and I just say fake because, really it just seemed like they was doing it for a storyline. I do believe that it was some real aspects of their relationship, but I don't think it was everything that they were trying to make it seem. It seems as though to me, Quad had tried to piggyback off of Sweet Tea's storyline last year. Although Sweet Tea wasn't going through the IVF journey, it still was around trying to have a baby and all that stuff. Yes. If you remember. I think all of that part was a little fabricated. That's what I believe. Or they had a real understanding, like a financial understanding. Maybe he was supposed to just be a sperm donor, for all I know. Tell me this. Don't you find this odd? Once King exposed to the world that they were no longer together, when they was like, Quad is a lucky woman, and that man said luck ran out.
Luck ran out.
That's crazy. And then somebody else came back and said, I don't think they're together anymore. And he said, well, I can confirm I left that situation. So with that being said, clearly she cannot control Mr. King. No, she cannot control him. And if that was me, and I couldn't control what he, might say on national television, you think I would want that man to be on national television so he can have the platform to say whatever it is that he wants to say about us, me, my relationship with him? He might expose it all.
Exactly. And you know what? And that's the thing. Miss Quad, like I said, she has to keep up this whole facade and this whole image that she has put out to the world. And Married to Medicine is her platform. She introduced the world to Mr. King. So my thing is, she painted the narrative in the picture that she wanted us to see. So now that they're not together, it's like, okay, like you thought you knew him, forget him. Okay? He's gone. He's out the picture. We're moving on. Okay? So I really do think that, it was more like a sperm donor type of thing, because she said that, basically, she know he's a good father and a good co-parent. So even if they had not have remained together, if they had have the baby, she knew he was going to be a good parent to the child because he's
Right.
already a good parent to the child he has now.
Right.
So to me, it's definitely giving very much so sperm donor
Yes.
energy. But then too, she also made mention too when she was crying wolf to the world, trying to make it seem like everything was, you know, genuine with their relationship. Miss Quiet was basically saying, letting the world know, you think I would put all this money and spend all this money on IVF and going over to Ghana and Africa and all these places getting IVF treatments if I didn't think that we were going to be together? But it really caught me off guard because she said all this money that I spent. You know, I'm thinking to myself, what, Mr. King wasn't footing the bill?
I didn't even peep that.
What's
But
up with that? I don't know.
But you
I don't
see,
know what's going on with it.
even with their little sit downs and all that stuff and his bad mood towards her, he basically was saying though, like, this is costing too much. I thought this was going to be a one and done. And now that it's not, basically I'm over it, you know? And then that's when she was saying, well, I'll foot the bill. I'll foot the bill. How about y'all sell that Rolls Royce or whatever the hell it is that she got and let that foot the bill?
You want the baby bad enough, you gonna sell that Rolls Royce and go ahead and get them IVF treatments paid for with that Rolls Royce. You're right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also noticed I never seen that Rolls Royce again after Dr. Simone was saying she wanted to see that VIN number, baby.
Okay. Someone right with that Rolls Royce from the beginning, okay?
You know what?
Miss Quiet, really good.
I felt like Quad's response to their breakup was very short on this reunion, especially for you to have first share.
Yeah.
Another thing that I noticed with Quad on this reunion is that she seemed particularly quiet, if you ask me. She didn't have too much to say on anything. And even with this whole breakup with her and King, she has been real quiet to the streets anyways, because if you remember, she was dogging Dr. G when they broke up and, you know, was going through their divorce and everything else. She was dragging him, dogging him. And the word on the curb is that the reason why she's not doing the same thing to King is because King has a lot of dirt on her, which is why even when he came out and said they wasn't together anymore, you still didn't see her drag him on nothing. So let us know down below. Yes. Let us know if you guys believe there's some truth to that down below, because I think it's some truth to it. That's all we have for you guys today. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like, and don't forget to hit that bell notification so you're notified every time that we upload.
All right. And don't forget to tell a friend and tell a friend. Until next time, we'll see you again.